Hello out there, my name is Felix Okeke. I am your marriage counselor and coach. Welcome once again to Marriage Without Tears channel. This is your ultimate channel for a man or a woman out there who desire to build a family that is anchored on solid rock, a family that will stand the test of time, a marriage that will last the distance. This is your channel. This is where you learn the art of how to build effective and effectual marriages and family lives. And if you are a married person out there, please click this red button and get subscribed. Go through our videos, you will understand what I'm talking about. There is a lot we want to discuss, and I want you to be part of this bandwagon. What is our topic today? Simply put, the duties and responsibilities of a husband and father in a family setting. The duties and responsibilities of a husband and father in a family setting. A lot of men out there don't understand what it means to run a marriage. They don't understand what it means to run a family. Therefore, they seem to bank on hearsay. They bank on how their parents did it. They bank on what the society is saying. They bank on a whole lot of parameters. And at the end of the day, their marriage foul up and it does not meet the required end. But what we are going to discuss today are things you ought to put together as a man that is running a marriage, as a man that is running a home, to make that home to become the epitome of success, to make that marriage to become exemplary, to make you also prosper in whatever assignment you will lay your hands upon. Because whether you are a spiritual icon or a business mogul, no matter whatever level you are, if you don't see success in your marriage and in your family life, then every other success is secondary. So I want you to pay ultimate attention so that we do this together, please. And as we go in today, if you're a man out there, please pay attention. The woman out there, please pay attention. Even if you are engaged to be married, it is necessary for you to pay attention to this very particular topic. What is the first duty of a man in a marriage situation? What's the first duty? What's the first responsibility? The very first one is that that man must learn how to love his spouse like the Savior. Learn how to love your spouse like the Savior. You know, if you know how the Savior loved the church, how the Savior loved humanity to the level of giving himself all that is of him, despite the fact that man was still yet in sin, this is the same way that the man is called to love his wife despite all her shortcomings. You don't love your wife simply because she's giving you a lot of sex, or because she's cooking the best meal, or because she's doing this or that. No, you love her simply because the person that gave you to her, or that gave her to you, is worthy of every adoration. God did it. And sometimes we need to love the gift of God, not because of the gift, but because of the giver. Let me give you an example. If an armed robber that you know very well walk into your home and hand over a car key to you, and walks away and say, "This is your car, take it from now, it's yours." Even when he leaves the car, you will be very apprehensive. You will not be steady, because you know he might have robbed somebody to bring that car to you. But supposing a banker or an oil mogul walks into your home and says, "Sir, please take over this car, it is now yours," you will be very excited. Very, very excited. What is the difference? It is the character of the giver. The car is still the same, but the giver have changed. So we love the person that God has given unto us because of the character of the giver. The giver is faithful. The giver is righteous. The giver knows us even before we are conceived in our mother's womb. He knows that we are going to come across that person. And then he has given us that woman to love. So we don't love the woman because of what the woman does for us. We love the woman because of he who gave us the woman. So love is not just about feelings. It is a decision. You make up your mind to love. You make up your mind to love. If you must love your spouse, you must set every other thing aside in order to love her. Love is not give and take. That is how the world sees love. Love is not a give and take thing. Love is giving and never tired of giving. If you are a man who truly loves the wife, you give your wife as much as you can. You don't wait for her to give back. You give as much as you can, even when she's not giving, even into the relationship. Your giving, your exemplary giving, will draw out also her giving nature. So you continue to give. Love is a continual flow of giving. So it is also sacrificial. It is sacrificial. You do it because you have been called to do it. You do it because it is in your ministry. Marriage is a ministry. So it is your ministry. That is part of your ministry. To do what? To sacrifice for the interest of your spouse. If you are a lover of your spouse, you do whatever is necessary to upgrade your spouse, to make her to become the best she can ever be. You can do a whole lot of things. You can send her back to school. You can take her to seminars. You can do all manner of things. You can even bring private teachers to upgrade her level. You make sure that whatever is necessary for her to become the best she can be. That is what is called love. That is what marital love is all about. And as a man out there, if you must see your marriage and family become what God created it to be, then make up your mind now to love your spouse the best that you can. Very, very important. The second duty of a man in a marriage relationship is that of leadership. You must know that you are the leader in that marriage. You are also the leader in that family. You are the person that every person looks onto for leadership. You are the one that bears the anchor. You are the one that bears the compass. You are the one that shows the direction where the rest of the family will head to. You are the leader, and don't ever toy with that. You are the leader. You are not the leader because you are more experienced. You are not the leader because you have more knowledge. You are not the leader because you have greater spiritual insight. No, you are the leader because God has ordained it so. God has made the man the leader from the beginning. So accept your leadership. You are occupying what I call a positional authority. That is what you occupy as a man in a marriage relationship. You are the leader. So don't ever look the other way. Don't look unto your wife for leadership. Don't look unto your children for leadership. Don't look outside of your home for leadership. The only person you can look upon for leadership is God Almighty. After God, whatever He tells you to do, go ahead and do it. Set an example in leadership. When it comes to leadership, you must lead emotionally, you must lead spiritually, you must lead economically. If need be, you must also lead mentally. What do I mean by this? Emotional leadership makes it necessary for you to be very tolerant and show what it means to actually be in an accommodating relationship. Be able to accommodate the viewpoints of others. Be able to accommodate her viewpoints. Be able to accommodate her opinions. Be able to accommodate her suggestions. A man walking alone without any person that is providing a support base is just a man running an alone race. But when you want to carry a party with you, of which, of course, the woman is part of your party, then you must learn how to do what? Accommodate other viewpoints. Also know that the woman came from a different background, may have a different opinion than yours. The onus lies on you as the leader to do what? To listen to her, to pay attention to her. Don't undermine her viewpoint. Don't undermine her suggestions. As a leader, you must also lead economically by providing or doing whatever is necessary to provide the needs of your home. I weep when I see men relax in the home and allowing their wives to provide their needs or to provide for them their daily needs or the daily needs of the family. I had such a problem some time ago that I was called to solve. A sister of mine took over the family responsibility, was fending for the family, training the children, doing all manner of things while the husband relaxed. And before you know it, these kids were growing and learning to know that mommy was the financial base of the home. So whatever is their needs, whatever is their demands, they go to mommy. Before you know it, they were no longer paying the required respect to their father. Until the father became so engrossed in it, he resorted to violence. And before I know it, I was called in. It took a lot of time before we were able to discern this is actually the problem. The man relaxed. He didn't provide leadership at the time he ought to. The woman took over and then undermined the authority base of the husband. And before you know it, there was problem. So as a man, don't sit back. It does not matter whatever your wife is earning. It does not matter. Be the man of the house. Be able to provide the needs. Remember that woman was called to help you. Is called as your helpmate to augment you in your search for relevance, to augment you in your aspiration to be excellent, to augment you. That's what the woman has called to do. So don't break her back by living all for her. Please show leadership. You must also show leadership in the spiritual realm. The capacity to be the family minister is very important. Every morning, no man must undermine this area. Every morning, show leadership by gathering your spouse and your children together. If God has given you some, gather them together and minister to them. You are the chief priest of your house. You are the chief priest. You are the one that is able to provide spiritual direction to them. You are the one that is able to read the scriptures. You are the one that is able to tell them, this is what we believe as a family. This is what we believe. This is where we are going spiritually. Don't undermine that area at all. And at the end of the day, when they all come back from their different enterprise, call them together again. Gather yourself, gather your wife, gather your children together again and minister to them. Do this often and on, and your base, your grace as a spiritual minister of the home will stand. So it's very, very important. And of course, be the one that learns the scripture, so that at the end of the day, you will be that kind of person who will, defy the word of God with joy before your own family. Very, very important. So we can go on and on. We can go on and on. I have seen men tell their spouses, don't you know that I'm the husband of this home? You do whatever I say. No. You are not called to force your wife to abide by your leadership. It is the exemplary life you're living that will make your wife, abide by your leadership. It's as simple as that. Show example, live by example, and then the woman will follow. That is the way it works. Anytime you see a man saying, don't you know I'm the husband of this house, whatever I say is what will happen. That man has already lost authority somewhere down the line. Don't be that man. Live by example. Show leadership, emotional leadership. Be able to forgive easily. And then that same kind of virtue will lay upon your wife. This is the way it works. And may God bless. The next duty of a man in a marriage situation is the duty of playing the role model. You are the role model of your family. You are the role model. I remember many years ago, I used to smoke. I smoked a lot of cigarettes. And I was a smoker. And on a daily basis, I consume 5-10 sticks in a day. And somehow, I didn't like it. I was single then. And one prayer I usually pray is, Lord, please help me to stop this very, very particular vice. I will not like to see my children smoking. Therefore, Lord, help me to stop it. And I prayed this prayer fervently. Somehow, God did it. To the level that before my kids started coming, I had already given up smoking. It is now that when I look back, I begin to tell myself, what would it have been if my son out there is seeing me puffing cigarette or drinking gallons of beer? So the reality is that you are the role model of your family. If you want to see humility, be a humble husband. If you want to see truth and honesty, be an honest husband. If you want to see righteousness prevail in your home, be a righteous husband. If you want to see grace prevail in your home, be a graceful husband. If you want to see giving become the norm in your home, be a very giving husband. If you want to see your son marry and have a profitable and fruitful married life, then be a gracious husband to her mother. And she will learn that from you. You are the role model. If you want to see your daughters aspire for great things, then be their motivator, because they will see it from the life you are living that this is where you stand. And then they will watch you. Let me tell you, you can counsel and it may not have the desired effect. Example makes a lot of difference. If you live by example, you communicate virtues, you communicate values, you communicate all manner of things to your spouse and to your family. You are the role model of your home. You are the role model. As the man, whatever it takes. If you don't want your wife to be cohorting with the wrong kind of friends, then take it upon yourself also to be very crafty and wise in the way you select your own friends. Don't bring in people who will come and do all kinds of nonsense in your home in the name of friendship. When they leave, certainly your wife will also like to seek for people like that. So, be able to live exemplary life. You are the role model of your home. If you must be a role model, then you must live like a role model. You are the standard that everybody is watching. That is the role. That is your role as a husband. Many times we find men who want their husband to become the best they can ever be. And yet these men are not willing to improve on themselves. You want your wife to be wonderful. You want her to be ravishing. You want her to be glorious. But in your own heart, you know that you are not the same. You are trying to make another person to become what you are not. It's not possible. You have to live the life first. You have to play the role first. You have to live by example. And it is in living by example that you show the way to every other member of your family, your wife and children inclusive, and even those around you, the household. They begin to walk according to your ways because they know. Remember, I will not forget the scripture that I read one day in the book of Genesis chapter 18, where God said, I know Abraham, for he will command his children and his household after him to tow the way of the Lord and to tow the way of righteousness. This is, what God was saying, that I can see that Abraham has the capacity to live by example. He has the capacity to communicate this example to the rest of his household. So the reality is that as a husband, God has given you that capacity. Sit back. If there be any ways in your life that is not righteous before him, begin to mend it now, because the children will take after you. Because your wife will see glory upon your life, and then she will turn to live in the same way and abide in the kind of person she has married. So, please, you are the role model of the home. I want you to take that to heart. Very, very important indeed. As we go to the fourth point, if you have not yet subscribed to this channel, please do so immediately. There's the red button by my side. That is the subscription button. Click on it and get subscribed. I would like you to get subscribed so that you become part of this party. It's a wonderful journey we are in. So be part of it. I love you. As we go into the fourth point, just be attentive. The fourth duty of a man in a marriage situation, the fourth duty of a husband, is actually the duty of protection. You are called to protect your wife. You are called to protect her against anything that may undermine her role as a spouse or as a woman in your house, against anything that may seek to truncate her journey as a spouse. You are called to protect her. You must protect her against even your own family members, because there are people in your family members that may hate her gods. There are people in your family members that may not like the way she's ruling her own household, and they want to intervene. They want to, come in and stir the honestness. So there are people like that. There are people that may not like her sense of humor. There are people like that. But you are called to protect her. I have seen situations where the parents of the man are the ones who actually messed up their son's marriage. I have seen situations where the siblings of the man are the ones who ruined his marital life. I have seen situations where cousins and aunts who came to abide or to live with the spouse are actually the people who sowed the seed of discord in the family. I want you to note that very well. Please protect her. You must not take sides with your family, your nuclear family, against your wife. Don't take sides. Don't take sides. You must draw her to yourself. The moment she got married, don't you know that she sacrificed a lot by dropping her family name, leaving her siblings, leaving the environment that she treasures so much, and walking away from them all simply because she wants to have a life with you? Then, of course, the onus lies on you to protect her. The onus lies on you to hold her to yourself. The onus lies on you to draw her closer and closer until you begin to walk as one. Protect her. There are situations of life that may try to antagonize her understanding that may try to antagonize even her, whatever she's. But you are called to be watchful. Be watchful as a husband. Be watchful as a husband. There are some homes that have been ruined by all manner of evil associates. The husband was not observant enough, and somehow the wife, in trying to seek for companionship outside there, found herself mixed up with evil associates who came in, gave her unworthy counsel, and the marriage was ruined. But if the man is watchful, if the man is observant, he will be able to nip this situation in the bud. So I want you to always, don't be in a hurry, and don't be so, carried away by other duties that you fail in your own role to protect your wife. Protect your wife against every manipulation of the evil ones. Protect your wife. Protect your wife against anything that may try to encroach on her to undermine her role as a wife. You must protect her. Sometimes society may rise against her, but know you that the moment she's weeping, you are the shoulder she desires so much to weep upon. You are the shoulder, and you must provide that shoulder. It is in you to protect your wife. Very, very important. The same way God protects us because we are his children. That is what he has called unto us, to protect our wives. You must protect your wife against any adversary, seen or unseen. Against any adversary, immediate or remote. Protect her. Very, very important indeed. That is the fourth duty of a man in marriage. I remember in those days, I didn't have children at the earlier onset of my marriage. And somehow, we came home on a vacation in the village. And because my wife was still, without children, my parents took to sending her to all manner of things. Do this, do that, do that. She will toil and toil and toil. Why other women, my brother's wives, they will all sit back and they'll be watching their babies and feeding their babies with joy. My wife will be asked to do all manner of chores. At the end of the day, she'll become very tired. When I noticed that, I say, what? No, I called my wife and say, from now henceforth, you only do what I asked you to do. And from that moment onwards, I set on a new pace. I called the rest of the family together. Every person must stand upon and do what he or she is meant to do. Nobody should be made to become a victim just for the sake of childlessness. And they took note. That kind of pressure ceased, and we began to live as we ought to. To the glory of God, we now have children. But I remember those times, and I come to realize that if I had not taken that step, she would have made the boat of the rest of the family. So stand out and protect your spouse. Protect your spouse. Don't take sides with your parents. Don't take sides with your siblings against the woman that God has given unto you to shepherd, to love, and to inspire. So protect your wife. Very, very important as we go to the fifth point. And the fifth point simply says, be a quality shepherd. Be a quality shepherd. The shepherd is always in front. The shepherd is always looking around, making sure that everybody is moving along in the same tandem. That is the shepherd. Don't be a butcher. A butcher is always at the back, at the back, whipping the rest of the family, whipping. No, don't be a butcher. Be a shepherd. Be in front, and then the rest of the family will be following you. And when you discover that anyone is not following, please stop and go back. Even Jesus made a proverb, a parable. He said, out of 100 sheep, one was lost. The shepherd had to leave the rest of the 99 to go for the lost sheep. Very, very important. You must take note of that. Sometimes we may be in a journey and we discover that our wife is no longer following, or one of our kids are no longer following. Something is happening to him somewhere. We must take a break and then look back and find out, why is that one being the lost sheep? You must gather him. You must bring everyone together. That is what you have been called to do. That is what you are to do as a husband, as a father. The meaning of father? The meaning of father simply means source. You are the source of all kinds of leadership. Emotional, spiritual, mental leadership. You are the source. You are the place where everybody looks onto for leadership. So, as a leader, you must also be watchful of those you are leading. be able to minister to them. A great shepherd must take his flock to the place where they receive green pasture. That is the job of a great shepherd. And what does it mean? Once in a while, you must take your family, you must take your wife and children on a retreat where you can learn the word of God, where you can, revive yourself spiritually, where you can even learn secular things. You can even take your wife on a seminar, a 7-day seminar. Go out, learn new things, get new information. The information you have will make a lot of difference in your marital life. I've seen couples, they married for many years, they have never attended even a marriage seminar. How do you live like that? How do you quicken your marriage like that? How do you grow like that? No, you can't grow. Even when you think you are growing, you are diminishing. So I pray that you will be a quality shepherd in that home. Be a quality shepherd. Your wife is the under shepherd, but you are the chief shepherd. After Christ, you are the chief shepherd in that home. So be a worthy shepherd. Be the kind of shepherd that encourages. Be the kind of shepherd that inspires. Be the kind of shepherd that motivates. Be the kind of shepherd that is compassionate, that is accommodating. Be that kind of shepherd. That is your role in the marriage. That is your role in the family setting. And if you do all of this, I can bet you that your marriage and your family will become glorious, and your marriage and family will also become the testimony that others want to have. They will look on you as the exemplary couple that they want to actually emulate. This is what we are praying that you should be. So I pray that you take some of the things we have said, into consideration. But before I get out of this, I want to give you a bonus point. But before I give that, please click on this red button, get subscribed to my channel immediately, and wait for the bonus point. Very, very important. The final point I want to make is that every man who wants to see success in his marriage must burn down every exit point. Everything that will cause you to walk away from her, cut it off right now. Make up your mind that you are in this marriage for good. Make up your mind that no matter what your spouse have developed into, that you will do whatever is necessary to, resolve that conflict. Make up your mind from the word go. If you go into a marriage with trial and error, motive, if you go into a marriage with the intention that if it doesn't work out, we part ways, I can tell you that somehow the devil will put in some certain things that will make you walk away from your marital vows. So make up your mind from day one. From the day I got married 20-something years ago, I told myself that I will not walk away from this marriage. And let me tell you, every spouse, every family, or every marriage has its own ups and downs. Sometimes when issues come up, it appears as if it will swallow the earth. But no, if you are consistent in maintaining your marriage vows, if you are consistent with what you have sworn before a crowd of witnesses to uphold, if you are consistent in your understanding that God who gave you this woman is faithful, and that he knows you more than you know yourself, and that there's a reason why that woman was given unto you, so that she will fill some of the gaps that are missing in your life. If you are consistent with that understanding, you will burn every exit point to your marriage. Everything that will make you to exit your marriage, you burn it. So as a man out there, separation and divorce, cut it away from day one. The very moment you go to the altar with that woman and you swear and enter into a covenant of marriage, burn every exit point. Very, very important. It will help you to gather your acts together. It will help you to reason better. It will help you to see whatever conflict you are having as resolvable, as a mountain that must be overcome. That is the way it is. But if you fail to do this, I can tell you that even at the appearance of a hill, I'm not talking of a mountain this time, a hill, the appearance of a hill, you will walk away. But if you make up your mind to cut away every exit point, I can tell you that even the tallest of Mountain Everest will not make you to go back on your vows. And your marriage will, from time to time, you will overcome some of these impediments that cripple other marriages. You overcome them, and your marriage will become the sweeter for it. If you're a man out there and you have been listening to this, I believe, God, that so many of the things we have mentioned here will make a lot of difference. If you can apply them, is not just in hearing them, but in hearing and applying them in your own marital situation. And the grace of God is already available for that. So go ahead and apply them, and you'll be a wonderful husband indeed. You will be a husband that is not just occupying positional authority, but a husband that is occupying the authority of knowledge and the authority of self-esteem, the capacity to show and to do what you are already saying. So I give God praise that you have listened to me. And the next time we will also look at the duties and responsibilities of a wife and mother in a marital relationship. I thank you for being part of this edition, and I look forward to seeing you next week. Have a wonderful time, and God bless you.